Thank you, Dave. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to have the question and answer part of this program. I guess I'm going to start out asking a question on a certain topic, and then if you have questions on that topic for each of these guys, feel free to get a microphone here. We're going to have Gina. She's going to have a microphone also. She can go around the tables, and Josh is also going to do that. And we'll ask some questions. I'm not too good at speaking. I don't know if you can tell. I work construction. But my first question would be for Mark Zakaria. I was wondering, Mark, if there's a new, well, it's not new, I guess it was introduced in 2007. It's the Enumerated Powers Act, H.R. 1359. That's what it does is it will require all legislation introduced in Congress to contain a concise and definite statement of the constitutional authority empowering Congress to enact it.
Yeah, well, I'm very familiar with the bill and in full support of it. As I said to you when I spoke earlier, I am basically a constitutionalist. We have a blueprint for how our country should work. It's called the Constitution of the United States of America. It basically gives the individuals who are citizens protections from their government should that government run amok. And those of us who've been watching in the last 6 or 8 months know that it could happen. So what we have is a bill that says if you are going to introduce new legislation in the United States of America, you have to include in that legislation some small legal brief that says these are the sections of the Constitution which give the Congress of the United States the authority to make this law. We can't just decide, hey, this would be neat, let's do it. We have to be allowed under the Constitution. It's almost a shame that we have to codify that and make them write it down, but it makes a tremendous amount of sense to me. And if unfortunately it was introduced in 2007, the second session of the 110th Congress, and it isn't law yet, it is still languishing in committee. If I'm lucky enough to be elected and get down there, I will certainly help get it out of committee and get it on the floor, and hopefully get it passed, and then make people have to stipulate what it is that makes them think they got the authority to make any new law that comes up. So it's a good idea from one of the good congressmen from Arizona that I hope will be my colleague next session.
Can I ask a follow-up on that? Would you support trying to do something like that retroactively? Because we've got a lot of stuff on the books that should be sharpened.
Yeah, I have often told people that I am running for Congress to go down and make laws go away, not to think up new ones. And the way to retroactively do something like that is not to add the language to that bill, but to just sunset it. To just say, we now will take this one off the books, thank you. And I think that if you take a look at the combined federal code, Eric probably has, I don't know that it would fit on this table. So, yeah, but the fact of the matter is that we can do with a lot fewer laws that we have, and the way to do it is to not bother about whether or not they conform to constitutional authority, but just to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I really don't have a question, but I want to give you an opportunity to meet more people for your campaign wise, if that's okay.
Sure.
Well, since at least 2 of you are veterans, and I'm also a veteran, and I belong to an organization of the state. It's called the Rhode Island National Guard Retirees Association. We are doing we already are building and having it, it's already, most of it's up, is the Living Memorial. It's down in Exeter, the Veterans Cemetery down there. And we're having a dedication on the 25th. If any of you are available on the 25th of October, that's next week, well, a week from, Sunday, at 1 o'clock down there, and our memorial is on the left side as you go into the main road, you just stay on that main road and stay left. Our memorial is down there, you'll see it, it's built up. You see 3 walls, you see it says National Guard Memorial, actually it says Living Memorial. It's for anybody, and actually any of you are invited. Please come down there because it is for the veterans. It's for the entire state of all the National Guard, Air Force and Army National Guard veterans. And we're building this memorial for them. And we spent the money and paid for these walls that went up, and we collected up to around $90,000 so far to pay for these walls. They're granite walls, been up in Vermont. And it will have everything up there except for the statue, which is $70,000, and bricks will help by that also. But I just like to invite you down there, and you can meet the veterans down there, if it would be possible for you to do it. There's another opportunity for you guys. I have a couple cards, and I feel like that, but you just give that to them. I'll copy it down, and I'll like it left. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
If I could just get your attention for one more second. As most of you know, at one time I was contemplating a run for governor, and I have pretty much decided that I'm not going to do that. And I've had an opportunity over the past several months to meet a young gentleman who's expressed a very serious interest in doing just that. And I've had an opportunity to drill him on the subjects and talk to him about where he stands on a whole bunch of things. He happened to come in the room. He's not prepared. I know I'm putting him on the spot, but I think he's going to make a great gubernatorial candidate on the Republican ticket, and I want to introduce him, Rory Smith. And Rory, if you could come up, I know I'm putting you on the spot.
My good friend Joe. If I'd known he was going to ask me to come up here, I wouldn't have just had a couple drinks, Joe, you know? Good thing my wife drove me here. Yes, I am. I'm considering running for governor. I will probably make a decision in the near future, the very near future, and you all will be hearing about that. This is actually the first time I've stood before a crowd, and I'm totally unprepared. But what I'd like to do is just tell you a little bit about myself and not give you a political speech. I came to this state 20 years ago as a young man with a 1-year-old girl and a wife, and I came here to try and build a career and raise a family. And I've done that with my wife Betsy, who's sitting over there, and it's been our joy and pleasure to live in Rhode Island for the last 20 years. I grew up on Long Island. I was the 4th out of 5 kids. My dad was a World War II veteran. He went by the name of Colonel. Everybody in the neighborhood called him Colonel. And whenever he was chasing me around to get chores done, they'd say, "Oh, there goes the Colonel chasing Rory, trying to get him to do some work." He owned a construction business. In fact, all of us in the family worked in the construction business. My mom raised 5 kids and also worked in the business. I worked in the business. That was my very first job, was being a laborer in New York City. The most important part of the job was getting coffee at 9 o'clock in the morning and not screwing up the order. If you screw up the order, you're in a lot of trouble in the construction business. So I just want to say hello to you, introduce myself briefly, and it's humbling to actually think about running for public office, because it's something that when you take on, you realize you need the help of other people. I think we're often taught to take care of yourself. That was certainly the way that I was raised. And for most of my life, I have tried very hard to take care of myself. But this venture is one of the things where you actually need the help of other people. And when you receive it, it's like the grace of God. When somebody gives you their hand and tells you that they'll stand with you. And I've had that very good fortune the last couple of weeks with people like Joe Trillo. And so if I do decide to run, I'm going to ask for your help, and I'm going to need your help. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.